Hey, it's Nick Jankis, and welcome to Happy Hour Anytime, where we take a moment to celebrate the positive and uplifting stories from the past 7 days, as heard on 95.9 The River's Happy Hour from noon to 1. Now, life can be hard sometimes, and it's important for us to remember that amidst the challenges and difficulties, there are still good things happening all around us. So sit back, relax, and let's take a look at some of the most heartwarming and inspiring stories from the past week. From acts of kindness to groundbreaking achievements, these stories are sure to bring a smile to your face and a sense of hope to your heart. Here's to spreading joy, positivity, and good news. Let's get started. Hey, hope you're having a great day today. You know, athletes sometimes get a bad rap, but there's so many athletes in every sport doing amazing things for people that you don't know about. And one of those is happening with the NHL's Seattle Kraken. And the center for the Seattle Kraken, his name is Morgan Geekie, and he's doing his best to try to help a young fan get a life-saving bone marrow transplant. You see, the fan here, her name is Isla Fiddick, and she is in kindergarten. She's 5, and she's battling a rare form of cancer called anaplastic large cell lymphoma. Isla here is also a huge fan of the Seattle Kraken. She watches the games in her hospital room. She tells the nurses about how the team is doing. And Morgan here got wind of that, and he's been on social media doing videos, encouraging people to go to bethematch.com, which puts you in the database, and hopefully you can match somebody like Isla Fiddick or other people who are battling cancer and give them these life-saving bone marrow transplants. So good on Morgan, and good for all the athletes doing amazing things without the publicity. Hey, shout out to Chuck, who is a barber in Pennsylvania. One of his first clients was somebody in a wheelchair who wanted a neck shave, but they can only use electric shavers because he couldn't get down to the neck with the razor. Well, him and some folks at the University of Pennsylvania invented a device that allows them to take the wheelchair and tilt it back in a safe way so people in a wheelchair can have the exact same experience in a barbershop as everybody else. Imagine the hope and optimism that gives people who can use that. Pretty cool. So there's a drag show in West Virginia that was canceled over the weekend after threats were sent to performers and patrons. We unfortunately see this all the time. But a local MMA coach and his fighters are standing up for them, and they're offering to act as security for the drag queens. How about that? On Facebook, they said the local community is behind them. Quote, the hate spews from the few, but there is love in this world. Can you imagine a bunch of beefy MMA fighters lining the sidewalk as a drag show commences? It's 95.9 The River. It's Happy Hour, brought to you by RJ Graham Plumbing. Part of my job here during Happy Hour is making sure that when people do something kind, something generous, that they get the recognition they deserve, and really just to put a smile on your face and restore a little hope in society. Listen to this story out of the Romeoville Plainfield area. So shout out to McQuethy's Tavern, who went above and beyond for this expecting couple. So this couple had a baby shower planned and ready to go for another local place. But when they showed up for their baby shower, it was locked. They could not get in. It was 20 minutes before guests were to arrive. They had decorations. They had paraphernalia for the baby shower. They had food, but no room to even walk into. So they called McQuethy's Tavern in a panic, say, hey, look, here's a situation. Can you help us? McQuethy's opened their doors and welcomed them in. They cordoned off a section of their main dining room. They made sure they had a table to put not only the decorations, but even the food from another restaurant that they had catered in. And McQuethy's is a dang good restaurant in and of themselves. But they let the food from outside come in, gave them a beautiful place to have their baby shower. And it's not like it was empty either. There was 2 other events going on at McQuethy's as well. So they made room for this couple and made what could have been a disastrous day for them into a really amazing story. And of course, the manager over there at McQuethy's didn't ask for a single dollar. They just wanted to help out this family who was in a bit of a pinch. So congratulations to McQuethy. Job well done on acting in generosity, in kindness. It's exactly what you want to see from our local businesses. And congratulations to the couple expecting that baby. If you go to our website, you can read about the happiest cities in the country. And if you scroll on down to number 19 in the entire country, you will find the city of Aurora. How cool is that? That's right. Aurora named one of the top 20 happiest cities in the country in which to live. Naperville usually is on these best of lists, but Aurora is getting their turn. Now, some of the things that they take into account here when determining the happiest cities to live in: emotional and physical well-being, income and employment, community and environment. Aurora ranked particularly high in the emotional and physical well-being category, which is really cool to see. And if you actually zoom in regionally, Aurora is the third highest ranking city here in the upper Midwest, behind Madison, Wisconsin, and Minneapolis, Minnesota. Chicago, the other city from Illinois on the list, down at number 71. If you want to take a look at that, share the story with your friends and family from Aurora, you go to 959theriver.com. And before we get into more heartwarming stories, a quick word from our sponsor, RJ Graham Plumbing. They are fully licensed and insured with over 20 years experience. They are locally owned and operated. They have headache-free warranties on parts and labor, so you'll get incredible value from RJ Graham Plumbing. There's no add-on pricing. Warranties are included with every project. With RJ Graham Plumbing, you'll have the confidence that they will stand behind their work, and that is invaluable. The licensed and insured experts at RJ Graham Plumbing start by identifying your problem so they can determine the proper solution, getting you the best results. They're not going to spend time trying to sell you on unnecessary upgrades, because your satisfaction is their top priority, because there's no better advertising than happy customers. You can check out all of their 5-star reviews and check out some offers and discounts as well on their website. It's rjgrahamplumbing.com. That's rjgrahamplumbing.com. Now back to spreading some joy and positivity with more good news stories from the past week. It's Happy Hour anytime. So we love to highlight those who go out of their way to help other people. And whether that's in our own backyard, which is preferable, I'd love to tell you local stories, but even across the country, like when there was a bunch of cars stuck on an off-ramp after an ice storm out in Portland, Oregon last week. There was a random guy named John Gilbert who helped a bunch of people out. He showed up in his SUV with a couple of tow straps after a friend called him, and then ended up helping more than 20 other drivers get unstuck. Some of them have been stuck there for hours, potentially life-endangering situation there. Also, first responders, we love to talk about them on Happy Hour too. A cop in Atlanta was driving the other day and happened to see a guy on a bike just collapse. He got to him within seconds, did CPR, and the guy pulled through. The cop's chest cam got the entire thing on video. They call them first responders for a reason. If you know of anybody doing something great, even if it's just a small random act of kindness or a big personal achievement, we'd love to know. That's what Happy Hour is all about. There's a real easy form you can fill out on our website, 959theriver.com/happy hour. So out in Nebraska, there is a high school cheerleader. Her name is Katrina Cole. It turns out everyone on her entire team quit except for her. She did not quit and went to the state championships all alone. She says she put way too much time and effort into this thing just to quit before the biggest competition of the year, right? So she went, she performed, the crowd cheered her on, and get this, she managed to finish 8th in her division. Now, there's only 12 teams, but this is the best her school has done in 3 years. And she did it all by herself after her entire team quit. Now, I saw the video, and I put it up on our website if you want to check it out, 959theriver.com. Watching a cheerleader routine with just one cheerleader and not the entire team is a little strange, but that's not the story, right? It's her initiative. It's her want to. It's her drive. So it's a really good thing that she's going to enlist in the Air Force when she's done with high school this summer. Kids these days, am I right? It's 95.9 The River's Happy Hour. A few different videos of this are making the rounds. A 15-year-old kid with autism was at Disneyland recently, and his dad posted footage of the evil queen from Snow White hanging out with him and showing him around the park. She made sure he felt comfortable and had fun, but never broke character once. That's what we expect from our evil queens at Disneyland, right? His dad's TikTok has videos of him meeting a bunch of other characters too, if you want to go check that out. Coming up, a story about fast surgeons out in Philly. It's coming up next on 95.9 The River's Happy Hour. Stick around. It is a story about a guy going above and beyond that potentially could have saved somebody's life. Get a load of this. It's Happy Hour, brought to you by RJ Graham Plumbing. A surgeon in Philadelphia. His name is Adam. He talked recently about a transplant that almost didn't happen. So last fall, his patient was set to receive a liver, but the car transporting the liver got stuck in traffic because of the Philadelphia Marathon. So Adam took it upon himself here. He left the hospital, basically joined the marathon. He ran a half a mile in his scrubs to get to where this car was stuck that had the liver for his patient. Thankfully, a cop was nearby and drove him back to the hospital, and happy to report the surgery was a success. Love hearing stories about people going above and beyond to help others. If you know of any, you got to let me know. Go to 959theriver.com/happy hour or hit us up on social media, or you can always email me to nick@959theriver.com. So one of the things that I've found that happens during happy hour is people's faith in humanity get restored because you finally start to hear positive things that people are doing instead of all the negative things. And this is another example of that. Listen, last month, a woman who owns a farm near Toronto struck up a conversation with a homeless guy. His name was Brian Bannister, and he's 60 years old. He's had a pretty tough life. He's lost 2 wives, one in a car crash, the other to cancer. And he told this woman that he'd just sort of given up on life. But now things are looking up for Brian here. She offered this guy a job on her farm, and he took her up on it. She also got him his first haircut in 2 years, gave him a phone, started a GoFundMe, raised $8,000 to help him get back on his feet. And he got pretty emotional talking about it. He said he can't believe anyone would care for him that much. There are people out there who care for other people, for strangers who are going to help you get back on your feet. And it's my job to tell you about them. Hopefully your faith in humanity is restored just a little bit. It's 95.9 The River's Happy Hour. A couple happy hour quick hitters here. How's this for an early birthday present? A woman in North Carolina turned 58 last month. One day earlier found out she hit the lottery for $1 million. And I love these stories. An Army dad who's been overseas for 2 years surprised his kids in school last week out in Virginia. His daughter's a bit older and was thrilled when he showed up with flowers. His son's a bit younger, broke down in tears when his dad sat next to him at his lunch table. It's 95.9 The River's Happy Hour, brought to you by RJ Graham Plumbing. Hey, it's 95.9 The River's Happy Hour. I want to tell you about something cool that a local animal shelter is doing. If you've ever wanted to foster a dog, but maybe only for a day, check out what Anderson Humane is doing. Anderson Humane is out of South Elgin. They have a new program where you can just take a dog out of the shelter for a day and do, well, whatever you want. They call it Doggie Day Out, but to me, it kind of sounds like taking a dog on a date. And they say it gives the animal just a break from the shelter. It can develop a bit of social skills for the dog as well. And all you have to do really is sign up to be a foster. Let them know you want to take a dog out on a date by putting Doggie Day Out in an email, and they take care of the rest. I assume there's going to be a fair amount of people who might try this and just fall in love with the dog and keep it, which is probably part of the strategy here. But if you ever want to just take a dog on a date for a day, go to the hiking trails or just cuddle on the couch or ride around and listen to 95.9 The River, you have your opportunity here with Anderson Humane. We got details about this, by the way. I put it up at 959theriver.com. And that'll do it for Happy Hour Anytime. We hope that these stories have brought a smile to your face and a sense of hope to your heart. Remember, no matter what is happening in the world, there's always good news to be found around you. So make it a habit to seek out and share the positive and uplifting stories in your own life and community. And share them with us, too, at 959theriver.com/happy hour or any of our social media platforms at 959 The River. I'll be back next week with more good news stories, so to be sure to subscribe and tune in. You can always listen to Happy Hour live from noon to 1 on 95.9 The River, and on your smart speaker, just tell it to play 95.9 The River. In the meantime, keep spreading joy, positivity, and good news. Have a great week.